Yo, what is up? And this is what I watched in July 2020. Started the month off right, was This Is Spinal Tap. Now this is just like the mockumentary, and yeah, it's good and funny. And the best part about it is that it's just so over the top, but at the same time it's so believable because it's just dumb, and you would just expect 80s hair metal bands to just be consisted of the absolute dumbest people in the world. And yeah, because of that, it's funny, surprisingly well done. It's got some sick people in it that you would never have thought have been in it, like the guy from The Simpsons, the guy from a couple episodes of The X-Files, and this one show that's about food and food facts. And yeah, it's funny, and yeah, 3.5 out of 5. And then I watched Stoker, and this is just Park Chan-wook doing his shit again, but this time it's in English. There's super nice aesthetics in this, and it's also pretty weird and also pretty gross. But you know, it's got the Park Chan-wook staple of it being about revenge. Mia Wasikowska and Nicole Kidman are mad as, and they just made Mia look like Bae Doo-na, which is super weird but also makes sense considering her status as Park Chan-wook alumnus. But yeah, this is sick, as to be expected, and I was expecting it to be not as good, but it impressed me. 4 out of 5. Then I watched Barry Lyndon, and this is just one of the prettiest movies of all time. It looks good at absolutely all times. The lighting is so naturalistic and nice, the costume is mad, which is to be expected given it being set in the 1700s, and then just filming locations look so good, performances are great, and the narrative is also just really engaging, and you really care for Barry Lyndon throughout the whole movie, until you realise he's kind of a dickhead. And it's hard to say whether this is my favourite Kubrick or not, but it's certainly way up there with Doctor Strangelove for me. 4.5 out of 5. Followed that up with Billy and Mandy's Big Boogey Adventure, and this is surprisingly good. It has good tracks and it's pretty nostalgic, and Billy and Mandy itself is such a cool concept, and it's pretty funny, and Grim is cool, and Billy is just absolutely disgusting, and Mandy is one of the sickest characters in Western children's animation. But yeah, this is one of the greats from the secondary golden age of Cartoon Network, and I don't care what anybody fucking says about it. But yeah, I can't remember much about it other than that, because it was kind of a bit unremarkable. 3 out of 5. Actually no, fuck it, scratch that. It's gonna stay to 3.5. Then I watched The Holy Mountain, and holy, get it? Shit, there is a lot here to unpack. Not only does it look absolutely crazy and has some visuals that are just mental, there's so much depravity in this, so much about humans are just fucked, and cultish aspects of religion, but then also about capitalism and the military-industrial complex and sex and just everything. It's just like, and then it gets to the point where it's completely nonsensical, but it's like, yeah, that's okay, because you just expect that from Jodorowsky at this point. And this is certainly something that you need to watch, just because of what it does throughout its runtime. 5 out of 5. And then I watched Darren Aronofsky's mother, not Bong Joon-ho's mother, and I really didn't enjoy this one very much. It just felt like everything from this had been done in a better manner, or that it was just completely unnecessary. It was super annoying to watch, and it's not very interesting, and it just feels like Aronofsky's beating you over the head with a stick. And it's just like, yeah, I get it. Humans are bad for the earth. I think that's pretty self-explanatory at this point. And yeah, it's just annoying, dumb, bloated, and the performance is alright, but not very fun or good. 3 out of 5. And then I watched Fantastic Planet, and this is super cool. It's just French, and it's weird, and it's animated, and it's super interesting seeing humans being the more animalistic species too, and being pets to the blue people, which is super cool and interesting. Cool movie, could have been better, but probably pretty important for the medium as well. It's definitely one of the artiest animations I've seen. 3.5 out of 5. And then I followed it up with Chicken Little, and this is just empty. I can't remember if it's funny at all, or if it's just because it's this sad and empty look at a father-son relationship, a shitty one at that. And Chicken Little himself is really dumb, and his name is even dumber. Like, why'd you name your son Chicken Little? But then the duck just looks like Shelley Duvall for some reason, and this whole movie just goes by without anything of substance happening. And at the same time, it just has this mediocre level of enjoyment going alongside it to make it at least a little bit redeemable. But then it's got all these auxiliary characters that don't fucking matter, and Chicken Little shorts? What the fuck is your outfit? 2.5 out of 5. Smosh from the movie. Wow, this was a fun night, actually. This is really bad. So fucked that this is directed by Bill from Bill and Ted, and this movie should just really not exist. Ian and Anthony sucked. The whole narrative sucked. Nothing about this was exciting at all. It was barely watchable, and certainly not at all watchable if you have no nostalgia for Smosh. 1 out of 5. Didn't even get close to finishing it, that's for sure. Then I watched Halloween, and this was interesting to watch. It's very half cool, half dumb, and half boring. And it's funny that this is surprisingly anti-premarital sex, or at least Michael Myers is, but it's funny that he's called Michael Myers in the first place because he's Mike Myers, he's Austin Powers, he's Shrek. But yeah, this is very girl power, very American, very just standard Halloween movie fare, but just bumped up a notch because it's just slightly better than everything else, I guess. 3.5 out of 5. And then Marie Antoinette. This is a very pretty movie. Everything about this looks so nice, except for Jason Schwartzman's face, because he just looks funny in this, and it's funny that he's Louis the 16th, and he's got this funny dumb face for the whole time, and it's just funny. But yeah, Marie Antoinette as a person is crazy, like how she laughs as peasants with all of their rich friends. It's such a weird thing. It's like rich girls dressing up as hippies at Coachella. It's exactly like that, actually. Holy shit. And yeah, it's just this really abject RP that comes from a complete misunderstanding of what it is to be a peasant. But yeah, Kirsten Dunst is pretty good in this. It's super weird with all the rock/modern music in it because it's a period piece and you don't normally see that. But yeah, I really liked this. It's definitely my second favourite Sofia Coppola, and it just has an energy to it. 4 out of 5. Then I watched The Cable Guy, and yeah, this is shit. Jim Carrey is so annoying in this, but to be fair, he's supposed to be really annoying in it, but that's only okay to a point, because you feel like he should be more menacing than annoying, but he's just annoying. And then Matthew Broderick's alright in it, and Jack Black is in one of his less annoying roles, which is a positive, but just nowhere near as cool as it should be. It's like a really watered down, shitty Coke from McDonald's. Perfect analogy. 2.5 out of 5. And then Kramer versus Kramer. And this is severely harmed by being watched in a post-marriage story world. Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep are both really good in this, but I don't see anything in this that it does better than Marriage Story. You could say that this is a bit more of a look at divorce at the time, and I feel like it's a lot harsher on Meryl than it is on Dustin, but there's not really much more than that I can say, because I really feel it's just been superseded. 3.5 out of 5. And then I watched everyone's favourite modern musical, Hamilton. And I was really enjoying it until my internet fucking died and it started buffering every 5 minutes and only playing in like 240p. But for what it does well, I just feel like it goes for way too long. But the songs are pretty catchy and everyone on stage does really well, and I can certainly see why this has become such a cultural phenomenon. It's the undertale of musicals. What is going on right now? 3.5 out of 5. His name was Alexander Hamilton. His name is Alexander Hamilton. That's my Alexander Hamilton impression. Then I watched Forrest Gump, and fuck off, American propagandist piece of shit. This is boring and dumb. Certainly not the best movie that came out in 1994 that features the song California Dreaming, but this movie really can fuck off. It's just phoned in, and sure, Tom Hanks is kind of cool in it, but it's mostly fucking dumb and annoying. This movie is dumb, and if you enjoy this, you have just fallen victim to the entire fucking propaganda model, you fucking fools. 3 out of 5. Ace Attorney, Takashi Miike, and this is like the previously mentioned in the way that there is such a commitment to preserving the aesthetics of the source material, at least with costuming and cinematography, because it takes this really weird future view of it that only like Ace Attorney 5 and 6 really took into account, while this is just focused on like 2 cases in Ace Attorney 1, because it mostly focuses on the first and last case of the first game, but then it has aesthetics from the 5th game, and it's a bit weird. But it's also paced super badly, like it just goes on and on and on, but it's not even that long, but it just feels like it's going on forever, and a lot of the time there's not a whole lot going on if you aren't a fan. It's worth watching if you're an Ace Attorney fan, but probably not if you aren't, purely because of how much of a slog it can be to get through. Even though it's got the high point of every sick moment of the fourth case in the game. Yeah, 3 out of 5. And then I caught The Personal History of David Copperfield, which was the first movie I'd seen in cinemas since like the start of March. It's also the second last movie I saw in cinemas as of the 16th of October. And yeah, this is pretty fun and funny. It doesn't take itself very seriously, and Iannucci's style fits so well here. It's also really interesting to see a diverse cast in a Dickens adaptation, and maybe it was the effect of this being the first thing I saw in cinemas for 4 months, but it was a solid fun time, and it was fun and funny, and David Copperfield, it's a pretty good story, narratively. 3.5 out of 5. Double featured that at Hoyt's with Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And this is just the best one, and everyone knows it, and it's not even fucking arguable that it isn't the best one. Curon is just a beast that cannot and should not be tamed, except for Great Expectations. This has the best score and the best aesthetics out of all of the fucking movies. Best costuming, best hairstyles, best everything. It's so much fucking better than everything else. But probably would have been sicker if it had Richard Harris Dumbledore, to be fair. 5 out of 5 for cultural value. Followed it up with one of Cuaron's earlier children's story adaptations with A Little Princess, and this is super Foucault, and Cuaron again just treats his mostly child-based audience with such a profound respect by making an actual movie here with at least some complexity rather than just making a shitty kids movie and phoning it in. And yeah, this is cool. It's kind of like Matilda if Matilda was in a boarding school and didn't have magic and was just not... No, it's like Madeline, but without Frances McDormand. 4 out of 5. Okay, then I watched Chungking Express again. I rewatched it because this had been just so completely stuck in my mind, and it just fucking hit the second time around. Everything just felt right and it just clicked, and it's just like, oh, this movie's so good, and it's all I need in my life. Tony Leung is so mad. California Dreaming works so well. Just narratively, and the fucking vibe and the fucking aesthetics. So good. 5 out of 5. Purely transcendent. Dazed and Confused. Yeah, this is weird. Half of it I just hate because of like weed culture and drinking and partying and stuff, but at the same time it's really cool because of friendship and hanging out with the boy. Matthew McDonald's gay is also like that. He's half cool as, but half a predatory weirdo. And yeah, the movie itself is just very half-half, but I did enjoy it. 3.5 out of 5. And then I watched the 1994 adaptation of Little Women because I thought the cast was sick. But Greta Gerwig slit this movie's throat and dumped it in a river when she released Little Women last year because its version is so shit in comparison. There is nothing cool or interesting about it except for some of the casting. And it just really does suck because it's boring and plain. It's like Cole's home brand original Pringles because proper plain Pringles are alright, good even, but Cole's home brand Pringles just tastes like the worst quality oil in the world with a little bit of salt. Also the perfect analogy. Right up there was McDonald's one. 2.5 out of 5. And then same day watched Chungking Express, and yeah, this is fucking Pog. Yeah, it's just this movie about being lost, but there's just this one thing, this fucking person that comes into view and you're like, yeah, that person's Poggers, but then it's like, yeah, and then yeah, it's fucked, because it's just like, 5 out of 5. Can't even comprehend it anymore. Then I watched Shadows, and this is my first Cassavetes, and I had a decent time with it. It's cool how conversationalistic it is, because for the most part it feels pretty grounded and realistic, even more than 60 years after it came out. Holy shit. Some characters are pretty over the top, but my impression of that character was certainly harmed by coronavirus, social distancing and hygiene issues. But yeah, this movie is pretty cool and seems like it's quite important in the grand scheme of indie filmmaking and art house cinema. 3.5 out of 5. Then I watched The Green Mile, and this goes on for so much longer than it needs to. And the whole Stephen King part of it rears its ugly head. I'm generally quite anti-Stephen King, just for reference, and the dialogue is pretty shitty and it's a bit more stylistic than Shawshank, but at the same time it just feels that much more bland. Tom Hanks is just Tom Hanks. The villain is scary, not because of what he is in the movie, but because of what he is in X-Files, and I have to concede that Michael Clarke Duncan and Sam Rockwell are proper sick in it, but there's only so much that can be done to save this movie. 3.5 out of 5. Okay, then I watched Pocahontas, and this movie is actually disgusting. Like, this should not get a pass in today's society, and it just completely whitewashes history, and just fuck that. Fuck this. Cool that Christian Bale's in it, but holy shit, has Disney heard of how British settlers ever, like, genocided native populations? And not, like, Native Americans falling in love with the why Disney? 2.5 out of 5. Okay, King Kong, another movie that goes for way too long, and it becomes really hard to become invested or interested past a certain point. And special effects probably would have been mad for the time, at least I would like to think so, and Jack Black is kind of sick in it. But the whole movie would have been much better if it was just shorter, more cool, and less boring. I'm glad I did not watch the director's cut, as I'm 100% sure that it would not have been worth it. 3 out of 5. Then I watched Eyes Wide Shut, and this is way cooler than I was expecting it to be. Having grown up in a staunchly anti-Tom Cruise and anti-Nicole Kidman household, I was made to expect that this film would be entirely hateable, but I'm glad that it was not the case. It's got a really engaging narrative that I was really into throughout, and I was really anticipating where it was going next. Until it just ended, kind of, and I was like, oh, it kind of blueballed me a little bit because I was expecting a bit more. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman were really good in it, and it's funny because you can see how obviously short Tom Cruise is at numerous points. Nice little Alan Cumming cameo, and Stanley Kubrick did a really good job with this. It looks super nice, and yeah, it would have been better if it wasn't Kubrick's last movie, because I feel like Kubrick could have made a better movie as his last movie. 4 out of 5. Then I watched Robots, and this is another movie which is half cool and just half an absolute piece of poo. Actually it kind of is a lot more than half poo, because I can't really remember much that was good about it, but it's kind of funny in that way where kids movies are surprisingly adult and depraved. All-star cast doesn't really save this, but it's also really depressing with its subject matter, because you are not special, and pharmaceutical companies want nothing more than to profit from your illnesses, guys. 2.5 out of 5. Following that up with Lawrence of Arabia, and it goes for too long. It's pretty cool to start off with, but then I kept thinking that most of it was doing the same things that it was already doing. It looks really nice though, the desert looks good, and it's probably completely fucking crazy when it came out in 1962. But sadly, in a post-Star Wars, post-Avengers, post-Lord of the Rings trilogy world, it's hard to share in the level of epicness that these movies have at times when it's just a lot more dated. Not to say it doesn't hold up, but the epic movie genre has evolved so much in the nearly 50 years that since this movie came out that it does at times feel like it's less good than it should be. 3.5 out of 5. Monster House. Gross and yuck animation, but funny and cool movie. So sick that Jason Lee is in it as a cool skater dude, even though he's a bit of a pussy. And the house being an actual monster is an interesting play on the haunted house trope. Maybe. Citation needed. Yeah, because the house is still just haunted by a very angry spirit, but it's cool. It's got a nice conclusion. Steve Buscemi's character's sick. Yeah. 3.5 out of 5. AntiBullying. The Road to El Dorado. Why did they make Chell so hot? And it makes sense considering that this movie was originally going to be a lot more adult than it ended up being, but like Pocahontas, this probably isn't the most realistic film that depicts the relationship between the colonizer and colonized. But at least here it basically says that Cortez was just mass murdering natives. But yeah, this movie was a lot better than Pocahontas in every way. Super fun to watch, everything get to the protagonist's heads, and it looks good, and the songs are cool, and yeah, it's a fun time. 4 out of 5. Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb. This one sucks because Dum Dum Give Me Gum Gum is only in it for like 2 seconds, and everybody knows that Dum Dum Give Me Gum Gum is the best fucking gag of the 2000s. 2.5 out of 5. I don't know how you could just mess that up so bad. Okay, then I watched The Last Emperor, and it's too critical of Maoist China, and Puyi sucked, and it goes for way too long. But in all seriousness, this is still a good movie. It's just from this bygone era where historical movies were always thought of as mad, but now they're just kind of worse because China isn't communist, it's just state capitalism, you fucks. 3.5 out of 5. Okay, then I watched Ghost World, and this is just cringe, and Thora Birch's character is just the biggest bad person in the world. Like, she was just irredeemable. Steve Buscemi's sick again. Who would have thought? 3 out of 5. Then I watched Atlantis Lost Empire, and this isn't as sick as it should be. It's just a bit too normal with how Atlantis is depicted, and there's just way too much blue and not enough cool colours, and there's too much talking and not enough cool stuff. And it just feels like nothing's happening, but then out of nowhere everything's happening, but it feels like things should be progressing a bit more, but it's kind of not, but it kind of is, and it's kind of like, what's going on? Why do I care? And it doesn't have the cool pink thing from Treasure Planet. Checkmate, atheists. 3.5 out of 5. Then I watched Smiles of a Summer Night, and this is cool because it has Swedish cuckoldry, hot Swedish chicks, and dumb looking Swedish guys have to wear the pajamas of other men. But as my first Bergman, this was pretty good, and I'm excited to watch more. But this felt like a weird part to start as dictated by the Criterion Bergman box set. It's still really good though. 4 out of 5. Kiki's Delivery Service. It's just Miyazaki wholesome bullshit, so it's automatically good. Yeah, that's all I can really say, isn't it? That's all you can say about most Miyazakis, I guess. 4 out of 5. The SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. This kind of sucks, but it has an epic rap battles history segment, and the DVD case is yellow, so it was worth it. But yeah, this feels like what SpongeBob is now, just a shell of his former self, and Nickelodeon just doing whatever they can to make money from the brand. Antonio Banderas is half cool and half dumb in it, which is kinda good, but also kind of feels like he really doesn't want to be there, but then at times it feels like he really does want to be there. And yeah, I don't know. I really don't know about this one. 2.5 out of 5. Then I followed that up with the Emoji Movie, and this represents everything that is wrong with the film industry and just more specifically the animation industry. But I still kind of enjoyed it, which is sad. Not because it was enjoyable at all, but because it represents the acceleration of the depth of the capitalist consumerist system. People don't realize that this is literally Forrest Gump. Like, this is the same fucking movie. 1 out of 5. 12 Monkeys. I cannot believe that there is a world in which this was cool, because this is anything but. It's just not great and boring, and Brad Pitt is really gross with his ratty long hair and weird talking and mental disability, and yeah, this isn't great. Bruce Willis, not even that good. The whole fucking movie, not even that good. 3 out of 5. No justification as to why. Take that. And then I watched Little Drummer Girl, and I barely knew this existed, but it's directed by Park Chan-wook and starring Florence Pugh, so it was right up my alley, and this was good. Cold War storyline, Israel versus Palestine, weird stuff about being dedicated to a role, and kind of brainwashing, and kind of not, and kind of just going absolutely mental. Certainly does go fucking mental by the end of it, and you, just like Florence Pugh, do not know what the fuck is going on, and you're half trusting everyone and trusting no one all at the same time, and you just have to watch it to make sure what's going on. Definitely one of the more crazy and abstract things that Park Chan-wook has ever done, and it's a pretty cool thing that was on TV at some point. 4 out of 5. Then I watched Switching Goals, and this is the only Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen I've ever seen, and I'm quite happy to keep it that way. I only watched it because Michael Cera was in it, and it wasn't worth it, but it was funny seeing him in it. Apart from that, it isn't very good or funny or cool. It's just a bland late 90s, early 2000s family movie that doesn't do a whole lot, but just shit a movie out to profit off people that are in it. 2.5 out of 5. And then I watched Treasure Planet, and this is all the sickness that Atlantis was missing. Aesthetically, it is so cool and should have been the maddest paradigm shift for Western animation. but unfortunately people don't know what's best for them. It's got nice father-son themes, and Treasure Planet, the actual planet, is really cool. It's just really cool how it is ships in space, and yeah, this is sick. 4 out of 5, and the backgrounds, holy shit. Okay, then I followed it up with The Prince of Egypt, and this is just goated. Never thought a Bible adaptation could be so good, but this is so good. It does so many crazy things visually, and it just goes absolutely fucking ham. I almost creamed when Moses parted the Red Sea, and I will say that the casting in this is super weird, and they probably could have done some much cooler stuff than having it just be big names like Val Kilmer as the lead, Ralph Fiennes as Ramses. That doesn't make sense. 4.5 out of 5.
And then I sat through the Alvin and the Chipmunks quadrilogy, and these movies, like 90% suck. Alvin 1 is kind of cool because there's a lot of Jason Lee and David Cross. And there's good costuming, and Jason Lee's GF is hot apparently. That's what I said at the time. But yeah, the Chipmunks are annoying, and they're like 100% the worst part, which is really bad considering that the movie's focused on the Chipmunk. If it was Dave and the Chipmunks, goated series. I don't know, 3 out of 5. Then I watched The Squeakquel, and Jason Lee's in it for like 20 seconds. I think it's so weird that Chipettes were made, and they're made exclusively to be romantic female counterparts to the Chipmunks, which is just really fucked up when you think about it, and makes strange Twitter chipmunk sex RP accounts make sense, but it's just really scary that and sad that they exist because of how the Chipettes exist for purely psychosexual reasons, even though the marketing wise they're just there to sell girl music, but they're just sex objects. 1.5 out of 5. Shipwrecked. David Cross hard carries this because he's in it a lot for some reason. Like he becomes the caretaker at some point, somehow. Don't ask me how, but I don't remember this much at all. 1.5 out of 5. Then the road chip. Redfield and Stifler's mum are in it, but other than that, same as Chipwrecked. Cannot remember shit. I was about to say they go to a gaming convention, but that's just Diary of a Wimpy Kid 4. And the two of them, 90% the same movie. 2 out of 5.
The Matrix Revolutions. I somehow never watched the last in the trilogy until now, and it's just painfully average to watch. It's got some cool moments, but they're just overshadowed by either just okay or bland and boring set pieces and war stuff that this series just really didn't need, considering that the first one left off in a good spot, or at least a good enough spot. Corporate meddling in the film industry is bad. That's a hot take. 2.5 out of 5. Then I watched Lady Macbeth, and I can't remember much about this at all, but Florence Pugh's in it, and she's kind of sick in it. 3 out of 5. Kianascotsie. This is one of the craziest documentaries I've ever seen. It's like Sans Soleil in the way that it's just so visually breathtaking, and the score pairs with it so fucking well. It just really makes you feel like you're just flying around and seeing things and focusing on such small things at times and large things at others, and just shows nature, humanity, and technology in such interesting ways. And in contrast to Sans Soleil, while that has some dialogue, this has none, and the lack of any human voices make the film so universal and accessible. It's pretty crazy. 4.5 out of 5. Then I watched National Treasure 2, and this is better than the first one because it has such a sick cast and goes crazy with the narrative and all this shit in it, where it almost becomes self-recognizably nonsensical. Actually, it does get self-recognizably nonsensical. It also has the biggest sequel bait in the world, and I'm eagerly awaiting National Treasure 3. Eagerly. 3.5 out of 5. Then I watched Interstellar 5555, the 5 Tory of the 5 Ekrit, 5 Tar, 5 Istam. This is the best AMV of all time. Discovery is such a fucking good album, and the anime visuals, they just look so good, and it just pairs with the music so well, and it feels really, really nostalgic, which is sick. But it's just got that aesthetic to it, and yeah, I really like this. 4 out of 5. Then I watched Fallen Angels, and Wonka Wai makes Takeshi Kaneshiro talk about pineapple again, but in this one it's cooler because it's a lot more edgy, and I can't remember more than that. I do have to rewatch this at some point. 4 out of 5. Legete, so this is what 12 Monkeys was based on, and this is so much better, even though it's just pictures with some narration that goes on for like half an hour. But I do feel like this would have been better without the visuals. It just should have been a radio drama, and it would be really good, I feel. 4 out of 5. And then I watched The Double, and Richard Ayoade made this movie so fucking cool. The casting of Jesse Eisenberg is so good because you have him as a little nerd as one character, but also have him as just an Omega Chad as the other. And so you have these like microcosms of his Mark Zuckerberg performance and his just persona in that interview where he's being a real fucking cock to that interviewer. And it works so well. Lloyd Tate and Jordana cameos are also really cool, and Mia Wasikowska is also pretty cool in it, and so is Rex from Toy Story. But yeah, very dystopian capitalism and lack of individualism, and the worker getting fucked over because some guy is cool. What did I just say in that sentence? Yeah, it's a fun movie, and it's pretty funny, and it's visually cool. Yeah, 4 out of 5. And then I watched Secret Sunshine, and this is just so sad and harrowing, and it's just, that's a complete understatement because it is so completely fucked. And yeah, I actually blocked out how emotionally traumatic this was until I started writing this, and as I recorded, I also blocked out how traumatizing it was until I remembered how traumatizing it was when I read and said out loud how traumatizing it was. This is just a ride from being happy and comfy from the start to just being just like soul crushing and completely defeatist, but it's really fucking good. And guess what? Song Kang-ho is really good in it, and so is John Do-yeon, who plays the mum, because she goes through so much in this, and but it feels like it goes on forever too, which is tasteful considering the emotional depth of it. But yeah, this is just yeah, 4.5 out of 5. Oh, then I'll watch Soccer. It's so funny that My Chonny is in a movie with Wormtail, but it exists and it isn't very good. Plus he doesn't do funny Asian accents or marry a red DS, which is really disappointing. 2.5 out of 5. I watched Hercules, and the opening of this is so cool, but then it just completely falters. Not nearly as cool as it should be, and not nearly as enjoyable or visually interesting as it should be. 3 out of 5. Then I watched Train to Busan, and this is so sick. It's emotionally crazy, and it's just one of the best and most effective and claustrophobic and stressful zombie movies of all time. It's just like, wow, because it does so much without its runtime, and it runs the emotional spectrum and has a base old lady in it, and this is all in just a zombie movie at its core. It's like, whoa, zombie movies can be good? Who would have known? 4.5 out of 5. Then I watched A Scanner Darkly, and this looks not very good. It's like the Futurama in the Simpsons game and Telltale games with how weird the rotoscoping looks. But then with the story, it's like this one long GTA cutscene, and it's really hard to care about the characters, especially with how weird it all is and how ugly it is. But the Alex Jones cameo was pretty sick, and it has its merits, but I found it a bit hard to get through. 3 out of 5. Then I watched Kids, and this is gross, but also pretty necessary. Like, it's this fucked up look at youth roaming the streets of New York, but it feels so real. It feels a lot like what mid-90s should have been, but with a lot less of how depraved it was, and less of how much of it was about AIDS and rape, and which was really depressing and confronting. Also feels a lot like Dazed and Confused in the way that you're just hanging out and talking shit with friends, but then again there's this backdrop of sex and underage use of drugs and alcohol, which ultimately harm to many of the kids even in it, even though it might make them feel good sometime. And then it's just like people getting AIDS through non-consensual sex while people are drunk, and it's just like, no. 3.5 out of 5. Then I watched The Last Temptation of Christ, and yeah, this is really good. Defoe is great, and the narrative is really interesting with how it looks at Jesus and at how things could have been different if he made some different decisions and was like, fuck this, I don't want to be Jesus. But considering that Paul Schrader wrote this, I couldn't help but think the whole time while watching it how much better it could have been if he directed it instead of Scorsese. I kept having these visions of Mishima-esque visuals being in this movie and just longing for what could have been, much like how Jesus does in this film. 4 out of 5. Then I watched Eyes Without a Face, and this isn't very scary, but it's also pretty cool, and it's French, and it's certainly disturbing and weird, and it is pretty fucked up, and yeah. 4 out of 5. And then I watched The Purge, and this sucks. It is so dumb, and everyone makes dumb decisions, and the premise is so interesting. But instead of seeing this wide-scale anarchy, which would have just been this sick thing, and based as well, you're just stuck inside with this shitty, dumb family that continue to make stupid decisions that just put them in dangerous situations, and they deserve to be dead. Ethan Hawke deserved so much better than this. 1.5 out of 5. Then I watched Mandy, and I really wanted to froth this, but it just really wasn't my thing. It wasn't substantive at all, and it just had some cool colours in it, and it just felt like this generic 80s fucking Stranger Things bullshit, but more adult. And yeah, it just felt like nothing was happening even though things were happening, and yeah, I just didn't care at all. 3.5 out of 5. Then I watched Fantastic Four, and it was really dumb, and I mildly regret watching it. 2 out of 5. And then I watched Come and See, and this is just the best war movie ever made because it is so ardently anti-war. Like, it doesn't glorify anything. It's such a brutal wartime experience. It's exactly what 1917 actually wanted to be, but actually good and without any stupid gimmicks. Florian is such an effective tool for this movie, and it's so scary watching him go from being this obviously like 11-year-old kid to being a PTSD scarred 11-year-old that looks like 80 years old because of how much he's gone through. It's just harrowing and powerful, and it's just way more beautiful than it should be as well, which is so crazy. And yeah, this is another ride for sure. 5 out of 5. So that's what I watched in July. The 5 movies I would recommend for this month would be Chungking Express, The Holy Mountain, Come and See, Train to Busan, The Prince of Egypt, and Barry Lyndon, because apparently I can't fucking count. And yeah, leave any recommendations in the comments below, comment your thoughts about any of the movies I talked about in the video, and like and subscribe if you want to. Thanks for watching.